my channel. This is one of the videos that I knew I wanted to make like as soon as I started my channel, and it took me 1.5 years to film this and sit down with you and explain how the hell I got a job as a men's model agent at 22. It like sounds crazy now looking back that even happened. The fact that I got a job like that at 22 is still crazy to me. And it was so fun, so stressful, and I'll get into everything. Basically, I wanted to describe how I even got there. I wrote a blog post on this as well, so if you would rather read everything than listen to me talk, it's linked down below. But basically, where do I start? So now I am 27 years old. So that's just some info for you guys. So I went to Columbia College, Chicago. I graduated in 2013. I got this job in 2013, but it wasn't as easy as it sounds. The reason I went to Columbia College was because I knew I didn't want to do anything in like nursing or be a cop or whatever. Like I knew I just didn't want to do any of that stuff. So I knew I wanted to do something creative. So I went to Columbia College, which is an art school in Chicago. And the first semester I was undecided, but I took one fashion class that I was like, wow, there are jobs in this field. Like I could do something that I actually really like. So why don't I just major in fashion business? So I did that. And I loved it. I loved that they told you like you can get all these cool jobs, and it was doable. Chicago is not like the main place for fashion to do this all at, so I'll get into it later, but I did apply everywhere but Chicago. And where do I get a job? In Chicago. So, and I'm originally from here. But so in my 3rd year of college, I studied abroad in Florence, Italy, met all these amazing girls. My roommates were all from Iowa State, and they were like all the smartest girls, the most driven girls I've ever met. And my friend got an internship at Cosmopolitan magazine in New York, the one that I roomed with in Florence. So I was like, wow, I need to do something with my summers and my life and get after what I want to do in the future. So my friend at the time, she had a sister living in LA. So we decided, why don't we try to get internships in LA and live with her for the summer after studying abroad. So I did all these like over the phone internship or interviews. It wasn't even FaceTime or Skype. It was literally like on my Pixel phone, I think. And I had to like, I got charged for these interview calls, but I knew I wanted to get there, so I just dealt with that. But so I got an internship in LA. It was at a showroom. And it was a fashion showroom that she just opened up. She used to work for Calvin Klein and all these different companies, and she was such a smart woman, and I love my whole experience with her. It was Jennifer at Bloom's showroom. So I did that. It was a great experience. I came home with 1 more year of college left. So I was like, okay, I need a second internship. I need an internship my first semester of college because I just need to keep meeting people and trying to get my foot in the door. I need to do another internship. And granted, these are unpaid for fashion. They don't pay at all, ever, usually. And so I got a internship at Luxury Garage Sale here in Chicago, which is a consignment store. So they started all online, but then they opened a brick and mortar the time I was there. And now it's like this multi-billion or $1 million company. It crazily grew, and I turned down a job with them. I know when I was interning there, they offered me a job, but it was literally working at the boutique. So I was like, I don't really want to do retail. I was working at Bloomingdale's at the time doing retail, and I was like, I'd rather do Bloomingdale's for a little bit longer than get like a real job, and I didn't take it. But that's just my path. If I took it, I'd probably be on a way different path, but that was what was supposed to happen. So I didn't take it. The internship there was amazing. A couple years later, I met Kristen Cavallari at Luxury Garage Sale because she was doing a book signing. So it's like weird how things like ended up, like I went back there to meet Kristen, and it was like weird things aligned, whatever. So that was my first semester of college. So then my second semester of college, I had no internship, and I was like winging it. So my project for my senior year was to shadow someone in the fashion industry that I am interested in. So I'm like, I really don't know what I want to do. I don't want to work at a store per se. I would be a buyer or something for a brand. I was thinking more like corporate. I would be a buyer for any sort of brand or whatever, but that's all in New York or LA, mostly New York. I applied to jobs in France. Okay, I'm getting off track. So the project was shadow someone. So I picked a modeling agency, and the goal was, I was thinking I could just shadow a model agent, because I'm like, we did a fashion show for our project as well, and it was fun casting the models and working on this fashion show and producing it all. And I'm very organized, so I loved like production and all of that, and I was like, why don't I just shadow a model agent? I'm like, I don't know what they do every day. It's a cool job. Maybe like I might want to do that, maybe, who knows? I was like, it was more so like to see like into their world, because I love reality TV, and I was just like curious, like, what do you do every day? So I'm like, okay, my teacher had connections with modeling agencies, so I'm like, I want to do a model agent. Can you like hook me up with one that I could shadow? So I initially reached out to Ford Models, because I was like, that's mainly the big one in Chicago, but little did I know that also Factor was a big one in Chicago. So Ford wouldn't let me shadow them, because I think they had to get permission, but also the agent that I reached out, she wasn't there anymore, because I found him on LinkedIn or something. So then I ended up getting connected with, through my teacher, to Bridget Halanski, now Bridget Jovanovich, but she was a runway agent at Factor at the time. So we were emailing back and forth to set up a day to go. I could either do like 2 days, 4 hours each, or like one full day of 8 hours. So I did a full day. I think I got there at 2 and I got home at like 10. So she was like, okay, come to the agency this day. You can watch me teach like runway class, and we can go to a couple events afterwards, and you could see like the ins and outs of the industry, and we could chat, whatever. So I was like, perfect, okay. So I arrived, and she gave me a tour of the agency. We talked about like what I wanted to do. I literally said I had no idea, and she's like, okay, I think you have to like actually have like somewhat of an idea. You can't just say that. Like, this is kind of like an interview. And I was like, oh, okay. So I was like, I just still don't know what I want to do in the future. Like, I just don't know. We just were kind of chatting. Afterwards, I watched her teach runway class. I believe I did. I think so. And then we went to an event at DECOR, which was a book signing, and that was really fun. And then afterwards, I went to another event with her, which was a fashion show in the Chicago Cultural Center. And then we went to dinner with one of her friends, and it was at Ebates, which is a bougie steak restaurant. And I was like, did not plan to spend any money that day, but I like ended up spending like $50 or something for that dinner. But it was a great experience meeting everybody. I don't regret that. The next morning, I was like, wow, that was really fun. Like, she's such a fun girl. Like, I can't believe, you know, the agency world is like interesting, you know? And so I wrote her a handwritten thank you note. Like, I love handwritten thank you notes. I think they mean so much to the person. So I wrote a handwritten thank you note. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't for interviews. But it wasn't really an interview, but I was just thanking her for the opportunity to shadow her. So you always want to give a good first impression, right? So I did that. And then she's like, you know what? Like, if you don't find a job after school, like, we do internships. They're unpaid. They're for college credit, but you know, I'm sure we can like slide you in if you want to apply to it. Like, I don't know if you'd get chosen, but if you want to apply, if you don't find anything, like, let me know. So this is like probably March of senior year of college that I shadowed her. So a month goes by. I'm almost graduating in a month. I have no job leads, no nothing. I applied to 40 plus jobs in New York, LA, France, anywhere. Like, all fashion companies. Like, I was applying to Rebecca Minkoff. I applied to like Bloomingdale's corporate, because I worked at Bloomingdale's in Chicago. So I was applying to all these fashion brands that had all these fashion opportunities, and I heard nothing back. So I reached out to Bridget. I'm like, you know what? I know this internship is unpaid, but you know, I haven't found anything yet, so I would be interested. Like, here's my resume, a cover letter. Let me know if you need any more information, but here's my application for the internship for the summer. I heard back. I got the internship. Interned there all summer, unpaid. And Literally, I thought the luxury garage sale internship would get me a job after school. I thought the LA internship would get me a job after school. I thought everything I had done was worthy of me getting paid after spending so much money in college to go to college. I thought I at least had enough experience to get a full-time fashion job after school. Nope, I did not. I wasn't lucky enough to get that. I don't know. I just didn't get that. I had to do this unpaid internship to then finally become an agent and start my way in the world. Okay, so I did the internship for the summer. I had a great time. I was working on the women's board. I was helping out with castings, with events, with pulling shoe sizes for an agent, helping them out. I was doing like MailChimp and creating all the marketing material that went out to all the clients. I was doing a lot there, and I loved what I was doing. I was very on top of everything. I was never late. I was there all the time, never took a sick day. I think I was there twice a week or 3 times. And on the side, I was working at Bloomingdale's in retail. So I had some money coming from there. And I lived downtown in an apartment. So I was able to pay my rent, or I think my mom helped me at this time. All of that happened all summer. It was awesome. The summer was ending, and I decided to buy myself a ticket to Poland and Greece to visit my cousins and family. So I didn't know when the internship was ending. They hadn't really set an end date. A lot of people at that agency would do internships for like a year and just try to get hired. So it was like 3 months or 2.5 or something. And I was like, I don't know when this is ending, but I just booked this trip, and the summer's ending, so I think my internship would end this day. Like, I booked this trip, by the way. So, I'm gonna be looking for a job afterwards, so I just wanted to tell you my last day of the internship. So basically, I kind of picked it because no one was really telling me when it was ending or whatever, and I had a trip for like 3 weeks. So I ended the internship, and so what I told them was, so I go on this trip. I'm like losing my mind. I'm so lost. I'm like, what the hell am I gonna do in the future? Like, I have no job. I was so stressed. I had so much anxiety on this vacation that wasn't even a vacation because I was so stressed. And I came home after 3 weeks, and I'm like, what the hell am I gonna do? And I remember I made like $50 helping my aunt at a banquet hall that she owned, doing like a funeral and like passing out the food. And I was like, what the hell am I doing? I'm graduated from college. Like, what am I going to do after this? And so I got an email from the vice president at Factor, the modeling agency I interned at. And she was like, hey, I know you're back from your trip. I wanted to chat with you. Can you meet me and Steven Hall, who's another agent? Can you meet us downtown for lunch or on the lunch break or something? I was like, of course. And I was like, in my head, I'm like, oh my God, did I do something wrong? Like, I did not think I was getting a job. I did not think anything positively. I was more so like freaking out. And so I go meet them at lunch, and she's like, so we are looking for a person on the board. You are super organized, you look cute. And literally she said, like, I dress cute. That's why I also was picked. That's so weird, but so this industry. And she was like, we'd love to offer you a position as an agent. And I nearly died. I was like, oh my God, I have a job after school. Like, I died. I was so excited, so freaked out. I didn't know what to do. So she was like, I'll call you back with the salary and all of that. And I was like, okay. So I like accepted, obviously, but without the salary. Like, this was all so crazy. Basically, as a starting agent, you make jack shit. You make nothing. I mean, nothing. So, and it could have been the owner as well. I mean, she was like a lot older, and probably you basically had to beg for raises as an agent. And it was a great experience. I was there for like 2.5 years. So when I started, I was supposed to start on the women's board. Then I started on the commercial print board because the agent there had an accident, so they needed help in that division. So then I was in that division. And then after a year, I was promoted to the men's board, which was the men's fashion board, which was like they were booking like runway shows, and I booked a Hugo Boss job for Shane Kiritan, one of our guys in Germany. Like, we were booking like crazy things like that, but also catalog things in Chicago, like Sears and Kohl's that shoots in Milwaukee, and like stuff like that as well. And that's where the bread and butter is, to be honest. And I could do like a whole like modeling 101 video too, because I just have so much knowledge in that industry, and it was a lot. I learned so much of something that I never knew anything about. After a while, I'm like, I know I'm not going to be paid what I'm worth at this agency, and I'm like, I don't really know if I want to be an agent anymore, because I loved booking the models, but I didn't love managing them, and I didn't love the hard conversations you had to have with these guys, like telling them they're fat, they need to lose weight and buff up, or not buff up, but they need to like lean out, actually. I just didn't like those conversations. I didn't like when they were like, why am I not working, blah blah blah. It was like babysitting people. And I loved all the guys I repped as friends and everything, and I loved booking them on jobs and calling them, hey, you're booked for $1,000 tomorrow. Like, that was amazing. I just didn't like the management part, and it was stressful, and it was also sales. Like, you had to try to book these models with clients, and it was just a lot of stress. Like, it was all about numbers and how much you're billing, and I didn't want to do that anymore. I wanted to be like on the other side and booking the models, or doing something like on the production side of it. So that's how now I work as a talent manager at an ad agency, and I work booking the talent in our commercials and voiceovers. So I'm where I'm meant to be, but becoming an agent at 22, that is how it all happened, helped me to now do what I love doing. And it's more of the booking, more of the contracts, more of the negotiations. We do negotiations for influencers. Like, it's all of that that I loved that now I do full time, and I don't have to worry about like managing models, which is awesome. But that's basically how I got a job as a model agent at 22. Like, I mean, it's crazy what all it entails. I mean, I knew I was good at it. Like, I caught on pretty quickly, and I went out to San Francisco and I got a client. I had a meeting with Men's Warehouse that didn't book models with us, and I got them to book with us the freaking week that I left being an agent. I just like, we had like this weird severing, like I left, but whatever, like it was just this mess. And that week I booked a model with a good day rate, and it's like, I loved doing that stuff, but the stress that came along with it was too much. And so now I'm happier as can be. I do a job that I love, and I have a side job that I love. Yeah, that's how it all happened. If you have any questions, let me know. I hope I answered everything. Before I went to the men's board, I also repped kids, and I loved repping the kids. They were so cute. Dealing with the parents was fine. And I actually scouted a little 3-year-old on Instagram, and he was signed by our agency and worked for like Sears, Carson's, which is Bon-Ton, which closed now, but Kohl's, and like he was the cutest little boy, and I was just so excited when I found him. So like you basically like were scouting for the agency, you were booking jobs, you were managing the talent, you were doing so much in one job, and I was not getting paid for it. And I was like, F this. I know my worth. I don't love all the aspects of this job, so I need to find something new. That's basically what was on my mind. My camera died. I don't know where it cut off, but basically it was just so much fun repping them. Like, one of our guys was on Watch What Happens Live one year. I placed a model in, I think it was Shanghai or China, and he traveled there and modeled there. Like, it was great. It was a great opportunity, and I loved it, but it just wasn't for me full life. Like, it wasn't for me for the rest of my life. So I hope I answered everything and described how it all happened. I was so grateful for it. It took me to where I meant to be, and yeah. It's now called MP Mega. They got acquired, and my old boss now retired. So it's called something different here in Chicago. But if you ever have questions, let me know, comment down below. But I should make a modeling 101 video for sure and give you more like aspects about like what us as agents look for when we sign models and all of that, because it's a lot different than what you may think. So, but yeah, thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful for people in fashion school that don't know what they want to do yet. But yeah, like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what other videos you want to see. Bye.